Las Vegas is a city that never sleeps, famous for its bright lights, world-class entertainment, and a constant buzz that fills the air no matter the hour. The Strip pulses with energy, drawing millions of visitors from around the globe every year. From legendary casinos to dazzling shows and packed nightclubs, there's always something happening here, and the crowds never seem to thin out. This constant flow of people makes it a unique place for rideshare drivers, with opportunities and challenges you won't find anywhere else. I wanted to find out if driving for Uber and Lyft here is a gold mine, a fast track to easy money, or just a grind that wears you down. So I spent a weekend behind the wheel, tracking every dollar, every mile, and every moment, day and night. My goal? To give you the real, unfiltered story of what it's like to drive rideshare in Las Vegas, straight from the driver's seat. I tracked my earnings, hours, and expenses, especially gas, which can add up fast in a city where traffic and detours are the norm. This video breaks down my entire weekend, the numbers, the stories, and the reality behind the glitz and glamour. We'll look at total earnings, compare the apps, and see which one really pays off in this city. Plus, we'll dig into what it really costs to keep your car on the road, maintenance, repairs, and those unexpected expenses that pop up. I'll also share stories about passengers, the wild tips, and the unforgettable moments that only happen in Vegas. We'll cruise the Strip, hit the airport, and see if the city's famous nightlife really means better pay for drivers. I'll pick up locals all over the valley, from quiet neighborhoods to the heart of the action, to get the full picture. By the end, you'll know what it's really like to drive rideshare in Vegas, beyond the hype and the headlines. This is the info I wish I had when I started, and it could save you time, money, and frustration. Everything you'll see is based on real numbers and real experiences from a weekend in June 2025, right here in Las Vegas. So is driving in Las Vegas a winning bet or a losing hand? Is it worth your time or just another gamble? Let's find out together. Buckle up and let's hit the road. Let's get to the big question. How much did I make? I drove Friday and Saturday during the busiest times, accepting as many rides as possible. After adding up everything from Uber and Lyft, my total gross earnings for the weekend were $585.30. That's the top line number before expenses. It looks solid for 2 days of work, but it's not what you actually take home. This total includes base fares, surge pricing, bonuses, and tips. Surge pricing was common thanks to Vegas events. Bonuses from both apps helped boost the total. Tips from passengers made a real difference. Remember, this is just one weekend. Earnings can swing up or down depending on what's happening in town. My weekend was typical for a Vegas summer, lots of tourists, lots of action. So while your results may vary, this is a realistic snapshot. $585.30 is a solid baseline for what a driver can expect, but let's see how that breaks down. To maximize my earnings as a rideshare driver, I decided to use both Uber and Lyft at the same time, a strategy drivers call MultiApping. This approach is all about flexibility and making sure you never miss a chance to pick up a ride, especially in a busy city like Las Vegas. Running both apps simultaneously means you get more ride requests, which translates to less downtime sitting around waiting for your next passenger. It keeps you moving and earning rather than waiting and hoping. For my Vegas weekend, Uber was the clear winner in terms of volume and payouts. The app was buzzing with activity, and I found myself getting back-to-back requests, especially during peak hours. I earned $362.80 from Uber alone, thanks to a steady stream of ride requests, generous promotions, and frequent surge pricing that boosted my fares. The extra bonuses really added up. Lyft brought in $222.50. Not as much as Uber, but still a solid addition to my weekend total. Lyft was especially useful when Uber slowed down, or when I wanted to take advantage of their unique bonuses. Lyft's bonuses and hot zones were a big help, especially downtown on Saturday night when the city was packed. Targeting these areas meant I could still earn well, even if Uber was quiet. Using both apps is like having two fishing lines in the water. You double your chances of catching something good. It's a smart way to stay busy and keep your options open. MultiApping lets you pick and choose the best offers, so you can focus on the highest paying rides and avoid wasting time on low fares. If you rely on just one app, you risk missing out on income during slow periods or when the app isn't busy. That can really hurt your bottom line. Some weekends, Lyft might outperform Uber, depending on events or promotions. This time, Uber took the lead, but it's always smart to keep both options open. The key to maximizing your earnings is flexibility, switching between apps as needed, and always being ready to adapt to changing demand. In a fast-paced market like Las Vegas, multi-apping is hands down the best strategy. It keeps you busy, competitive, and in control of your schedule. Ultimately, using both apps puts you in control of your bottom line and helps you make the most of every opportunity. Don't limit yourself to just one platform. Embrace the flexibility and freedom that comes with multi-apping. Be your own boss, stay adaptable, and make the most of every shift. That's how you win the rideshare game in Vegas. Making good money isn't just about driving, it's about driving at the right times. In Vegas, that means working when everyone else is out having fun. I worked split shifts, afternoons and late nights, covering both steady and peak hours. Over the weekend I drove 21 hours, Friday 4-8 p.m., then 10 p.m. 3 a.m., Saturday 3-7 p.m., then 9 p.m. 3 a.m. Late afternoons were steady with airport runs and pre-dinner rides. The real action was late at night, constant demand, barely any downtime. Surge pricing was most common after 10 p.m., especially on the Strip and Fremont Street. It's tiring, but the late shift pays best. My average gross hourly rate, $27.87 before expenses. If you're willing to work late nights, you can earn more per hour. But this rate isn't guaranteed. Slow nights or traffic can bring it down. Your earnings depend on staying busy and working the busiest hours. Strategy matters as much as effort. Timing is everything in Vegas rideshare. The gross earnings always look impressive at first glance, but what really matters is how much you keep after expenses. It's easy to get excited by the big numbers, but the reality is, every dollar you spend chips away at your profit. Fuel is by far the biggest cost for any rideshare driver, and it's something you can't avoid if you want to keep your wheels turning. My Camry gets decent mileage, but after 21 hours of driving all over Las Vegas, I burned through a lot of gas. Long shifts and city traffic really add up. Gas in Vegas was about $4.50 a gallon, definitely not cheap. I ended up spending $75.60 on fuel just for the weekend, which is a big chunk out of my earnings. That drops my take-home pay to $509.70, and that's before I even think about the other costs that come with the job. Don't forget about the smaller but steady expenses. Car washes to keep your rating up, regular maintenance, and the hidden cost of depreciation every mile you drive. I add about $2 for a quick car wash, and I estimate $40 for wear and tear, about 12 cents per mile for the 350 miles I drove that weekend. These numbers add up fast. After all those expenses, my real profit for the weekend was around $469.70. That's the number that actually matters at the end of the day. That works out to about $22.36 per hour, still a solid rate, but it's a big drop from the flashy gross number you see in the app. Many new drivers forget to factor in these costs and end up surprised when their actual earnings are much lower than expected. Always do the math before you start. Take a few minutes to estimate your real expenses so you know what you're actually making. Your real hourly wage is what matters, not the flashy app total. The app might show a big number, but it doesn't tell the whole story. Track every dollar in and out. Keep receipts, use a spreadsheet or an app. Whatever works for you, just make sure you're keeping tabs. That's the only way to know if driving is really worth your time and effort, especially in a city with high costs like Las Vegas. Be smart about your expenses, and you'll make sure your hard work actually pays off. Tips can make or break your earnings in Vegas. I tracked every tip, cash and in-app. Over the weekend, I earned $92.50 in tips, about 16% of my total income. That's a big chunk, and it shows how much good service pays off. Tourists tipped more than locals, especially those from major hotels on the Strip. My biggest tip, $20 cash from a group heading to a nightclub. Short local trips often meant no tip at all. Party groups were hit or miss, sometimes generous, sometimes nothing. The best tippers were usually relaxed vacationers or couples. Don't count on every group to tip big, even if they're celebrating. Consistent, friendly service is your best bet for steady tips. Tips add up fast and can boost your hourly rate. In Vegas, service really does matter. Is rideshare in Vegas a full-time job or a side hustle? For most, it's best as a side hustle. Earning $400, $500 in a weekend for 20 hours is a great way to boost your income. The flexibility is the biggest perk. You can work only the busiest, most profitable hours. As a full-time job, its tough income is inconsistent, and you'd need to drive 40-50 hours a week to make a living wage. More hours mean more wear and tear, higher costs, and no benefits. You're responsible for your own insurance, retirement, and time off. If you don't drive, you don't earn. For most people, part-time is the sweet spot. You get the extra cash without the stress of relying on it full-time. Use rideshare to supplement your main income, not replace it. That's the smart play in Vegas. Night driving in Vegas is where the money is, but it's not easy. From 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. I was rarely idle, and fares were higher thanks to surge pricing. But the night shift brings challenges, intoxicated passengers, messes, and unpredictable behavior. Some groups were fun and tipped well, others were loud, changed destinations, or left no tip. Patience is essential, and you need to be firm about the rules. No open containers, no unruly behavior. Traffic on the strip can be brutal, even late at night. A 10-minute trip can turn into 30 minutes in gridlock. Know the best pickup spots and use side streets to avoid jams. The night shift pays best, but it's also the most stressful. Decide if the extra cash is worth the hassle. Try it for yourself, but be prepared for anything. Keep your car clean, stay calm, and don't hesitate to end a ride if things get out of hand. Night driving is high risk, high reward. After a weekend on the road, here's my verdict. Driving rideshare in Vegas is worth it, if you're smart about it. It's not easy money, but it's a solid side hustle if you work peak hours and manage expenses. My $470 profit for 21 hours is a great example of what's possible. Use both Uber and Lyft, target busy times, and keep your costs low. Focus on profitable niches, airport runs, late-night strip, and events. Don't just drive aimlessly, have a plan for each shift. Good service leads to better tips and repeat business. Vegas is built on moving people, so demand is always there. It's not for everyone. Expect long nights, traffic, and tough passengers, but if you're prepared and strategic, you can make it work. Treat it like a business, not a lottery ticket. The opportunity is there for those willing to hustle. In Vegas, you can make your own luck if you drive smart.